Welcome back to Fox and Friends. Well, more brazen crime is shaking the streets of New York City. On Wednesday night, a 28-year-old man was shot in the leg while eating dinner at a high-end Manhattan restaurant. He was attempting to defend himself from robbers who demanded he turn over his watch. The gunman then fled the scene, and the police have made no arrests. New York Councilman Joe Borelli joins me now. Welcome, Councilman. Thank you for joining us today.
Good morning.
I have to believe that criminals make calculations. They decide, you know, am I going to commit this crime? How am I going to get away with it? What is going on in New York City that these criminals think they can get away with something so brazen?
Well, that's exactly right. This is a risk-reward calculation, and these criminals have seen headline after headline of bank robber gets out with no bail in New York City, and they decided that we don't even need a clever plan. We just need to go up and rob people. Start with a question, though. Is anyone going to be surprised when these two people are eventually arrested and we find out they had a lengthy rap sheet and probably were let out last year at some point on bail reform? Of course not. And that's, as you pointed out, it's just a risk calculation. And in New York, they're just well aware that the criminal justice system has no more teeth.
So this happened in a high-end area. Do you think the fact that now the crimes are moving more and more into these high-end areas, is that going to get more of a reaction perhaps out of voters? Are they going to demand more out of their officials and get these policies to change?
Well, I hope so. This is a neighborhood that's long been considered safe, and these type of crimes are what, you know, make tourists question visiting here, make residents question living here. You know, just over a decade ago, we had 60 million tourists visit here per year, spending money, enjoying themselves, fighting to get the best hotel rooms, and unfortunately, those days are just gone. We used to have a Republican mayor and a Republican governor in this state, and New York was one of the most safest cities and states in the community.
Yeah, I have friends who said, I'm not going. They'd love to come to New York. They're not coming this year. They don't feel safe. New York's Governor Hochul has ordered the immediate release of 191 inmates from Rikers Island. What kind of effect do you think that will have?
Well, we have real issues on Rikers Island with violence and unsafe staffing levels. But what the governor's saying here is that basically we're not going to accept responsibility and the brunt of the problems and the need to reform the jails. We're actually going to put the burden back on you, the public, and you're going to face the consequences because we're just going to let people out who have violated their parole. It's insane that the only way we can reform our jails in New York is to just let people out. And my warning for the rest of the country is that Governor Hochul was elected as a moderate. But this is what happens to moderate Democrats when there's unrestricted Democratic power in your state houses.
Yeah. Councilman Borelli, thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
All right.